The Chrysler 300C was first equipped with gasoline engines, a 2.7-liter V6, 193 horsepower, and 3.5-liter, 253 horsepower, as well as a 5.7-liter V8 of the Hemi family, 340 horsepower. For the European version in 2005, the range of engines was replenished with a 3-liter turbo diesel V6, 218 horsepower, from the Mercedes arsenal. The 2.7-liter V6 is not particularly favored by mechanics, considering it unrepairable. For example, as such, liners for camshafts are not provided. They are replaced by cylindrical recesses with an anti-friction surface layer in the camshaft bed. The pump starts to leak to 100,000 kilometers. Replacement will cost 12,000 rubles. And by 150 to 180,000 kilometers, extraneous noises appear in the timing chain due to the development of its dampers and tensioners. Replacement is made together with a set of sprockets for 15,000 rubles. From our fuel with various additives, catalysts quickly burned out, which were once updated by the manufacturer through a recall campaign. The 3.5-liter V6 is optimal for the Chrysler 300C. It is powerful, economical, and reliable, although not without its own specifics. Spark plugs, 285 rubles apiece, for a motor require a strictly defined sample. A plate with their designation is located under the hood, on the top of the front panel. But to get to them, on all V6s you have to remove the intake manifold. The 3.5L V6 is considered optimal for the Chrysler 300C. And yes, it causes a few problems. And although a timing belt is used in the timing drive, according to the regulations, it is replaced after 168,000 kilometers. Exhaust gas recirculation, EGR, valves hang from our fuel over time. But it's still half the trouble. Worse when the inlet valves get stuck in their guides. Then you have to remove the blockhead and bore the guide bushings. Repair pulls on 35,000 to 50,000 rubles. The 5.7L petrol V8s are reliable and durable. Among the problems caused by the specifics of Russian operation, one can only name the freezing of the EGR valve. Even the timing chain often withstands up to 350,000 kilometers or more. But replacing the candles will cost a pretty penny. There are 2 of them for each cylinder. The stock Hemi 5.7L V8 with a lower camshaft is equipped with 2 spark plugs per cylinder and an MDS, multi-displacement system that shuts off half of the cylinders during uniform movement, which saves up to 20% fuel. The main elements of this system are controlled intake valve lifters, pictured. The 3-liter turbo diesel is borrowed from Mercedes. The engine sins with the failure of the EGR valves and the intake manifold damper motor actuators. There are 2 of them, 1 for each blockhead. Replacing the kit, 25,000 rubles. Often, glow plugs and their electronic module run out. Turbine pipes leak with age. Transmission. On the Chrysler 300C, only automatic transmissions were installed, a 4-speed American-made 42 RLE and a 5-band automatic transmission manufactured by ZF W5A580. 4-step is durable. True, with age, gears can switch with noticeable jerks. An oil change usually corrects the situation. On the German, automatic oil often leaks from under the electrical connector of the wiring of the transmission control unit. The problem is usually solved by replacing the penny sealing ring. After 100,000 kilometers, the rubber coupling of the propeller shaft wears out, the seals flow. Quadruple automatic 42 RLE was installed only on rear-wheel drive versions of the 300C. The unit is time-tested, maintainable, and quite reliable. However, after 150 to 180,000 kilometers of run, the gears can switch jerkily. The reason is the wear of the valve body. Repair with the replacement of a set of gaskets and a clutch package will result in an amount of 50,000 rubles or more. All-wheel drive transmission with free differentials is similar to the Mercedes 4MATIC. Torque is distributed in a ratio of 38:62 between the front and rear axles. So far, she hasn't had any complaints. Chassis and body. Suspension Chrysler 300C in design, front wishbones and rear multi-link, is similar to the Mercedes E-Class in the back of the W210. True, with the only difference that the levers of the American are steel instead of aluminum alloy. The front will cause more trouble than the back, due to the fragile silent block, which sometimes breaks after 30,000 kilometers. The lever assembly with the ball joint changes. On cars younger than 2006, this part has become more reliable. Wheel bearings are enough for 50 to 60,000 kilometers. The stabilizer struts can withstand the same amount, but the bushings are 1.5 times less. In the rear suspension, problems begin after 100,000 kilometers, when the floating silent block of the lower transverse arm wears out. The front suspension of the Chrysler 300C on double wishbones is attached to the body through a powerful subframe. Structurally, it is similar to the Mercedes on the E-Class W210, but instead of aluminum levers on the American, steel ones are used. However, this did not add much reliability to the suspension. Brake system. In the brake mechanism, the protective screen quickly rusts, which eventually rots and cuts off the ABS sensor. In the steering mechanism, the rod ends are short-lived. The rail turned out to be weak. Knocks in it appeared already by 10 to 15,000 kilometers. Dealers changed it under warranty. The brutal body of the Chrysler 300C perfectly tolerates the tricks of Russian roads. But the chrome coating turned out to be short-lived, which loses its luster after the first winter. There are also questions about electrical equipment. The headlight corrector unit fails. Often the interior lighting is buggy and refuses to work. The bulbs of external lighting devices and the license plate burn out. Xenon headlights on the 300C have some issues. If, after turning on the dip beam, the headlight flashes and flickers until it warms up, or the spectrum of its glow has changed to pale purple, then you will soon have to splurge on a new low-beam xenon bulb. And at dealers it costs 11,000 rubles. Modifications. The Chrysler 300C Touring Station Wagon looks even more aggressive and monumental than the sedan due to the roof falling to the stern and narrow loopholes. The main advantage of the car is a trunk with a volume of 630 liters. And if you fold the rear seats, then its volume will increase to 1602 liters, which, in general, is not so much for such a mastodon. Special mention deserves the fifth door of an unusual L-shaped shape, going to the roof. The kinematics of its opening ensures that the lid is lifted strictly vertically. In cramped parking conditions, this is important. In addition, only the 300C Touring offers a Mercedes all-wheel drive transmission with free differentials and torque distribution in the proportion of 38/60 seconds between the front and rear wheels. And the station wagon has an almost perfect weight distribution along the axis, 51:49. The sports version differs from the flagship Chrysler 300C only by the SRT8 nameplate. The abbreviation SRT stands for Street Racing Technology, a company that is part of the Chrysler concern and specializes in the development of extreme versions of production models. And the number 8 means that under the hood lives a 6.1-liter V8, which is based on Chrysler's Hemi, increased in volume from 5.7 to 6.1 liters. The compression ratio has also increased noticeably, so it is recommended to fill the car with 98th gasoline. As a result, the engine power reached 431 horsepower, which, paired with the Mercedes 5-speed automatic transmission, allows the rear-wheel drive sedan to reach a maximum speed of 274 km/h, changing the first 100 in just 5.3 seconds. Moreover, the Chrysler 300C SRT8 was produced not only as a sedan, but also as a station wagon. True, the Charge Touring was exclusively with rear-wheel drive,